Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, we join city volunteers in the Philippines as they distribute aid supplies to fire victims in Quezon City. In China, city volunteers are handing out scholarship support to help needy students in Luodian County of Guizhou Province. And in our regular look at Taiwan's unique traits, we meet Luo Wenxiang to see how organic farming is changing his life. In the Philippines, a fire broke out on October 18th in Quezon City's Ganna compound, leaving approximately 400 families homeless. 2 days later, city volunteers arrived to survey the damage and also distribute relief items to help the fire victims.
What was once the homes of these residents is now ruins. The blaze which broke out in Quezon City's Ganna compound was extremely fierce and spread far and wide, leaving 400 families homeless. As they fled for their lives, the residents had no time to take their belongings.
In my many years of living here, it's the first time that a fire broke out. We were not able to save any of our belongings. That's why my children don't have any clothes, and we can only survive through relief goods.
After the fire died down, the disaster victims were placed in temporary shelters at a nearby school, and some set up tents among the ruins. After city volunteers surveyed the disaster site, a distribution was carried out. The relief goods included 10 kilos of rice, second-hand clothing, eating utensils, toothbrush, and other supplies for each family.
I don't have clothes anymore. The fire burnt everything. I looked for clothes at the bazaar, but nothing fits my size. I'm hoping that I will receive some clothes from the relief goods that city gave us.
In spite of losing everything, the residents were still willing to do their part and donated their change to the bamboo banks.
It is hard to accept what happened to us, but we are still thankful to God because there are people like you who are willing to help us with our condition. The relief items from Tzu Chi helped us so much. Thank you.
Setting aside their anxiety, the local residents joined Tzu Chi volunteers in prayer, and despite their situation, they know they can look to the future with hope.
Moving to Australia, Sydney city volunteers recently performed the sign language musical of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude Towards Parents at the Concourse Theatre in Chatswood. The performance not only moved the audience, but also inspired on-stage volunteers to be more filial to their parents.
On-stage volunteer Xiao Chun is paralyzed from the waist down after an accident 3 years ago. After joining the performance, he rediscovered the unconditional love of his parents.
We should cherish the time we have with our parents because life is full of impermanence and ups and downs.
The Tzu Qings were also invited by a local Chinese radio station to share their experiences and thoughts after joining the performance.
After joining the performance, I understand why parents have high expectations for their children and why they will be worried when their children are sick.
The Tzu Qings not only realize the great love parents have, but also experience the hardship pregnant mothers endure during pregnancy.
In the performance, I played the role as a pregnant woman. Although I was only on stage for 5 minutes, I could already feel the back pain. It is amazing how pregnant mothers can live like this for 9 months.
After watching the performance, many in the audience thought of their parents that may be living far away.
In China, Guangdong Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to Luodian County of Guizhou Province to hand out scholarships for the first time this semester. Apart from visiting the Mingzhu Middle School, volunteers also helped needy students in Bianyang Town.
Tzu Chi volunteers from Guangdong recently returned to Guizhou Province, Luodian County, to hand out tuition aid. This time, they are traveling to the remote mountain area of Bianyang Town.
To give her some monetary help, it is an encouragement for these families who are struggling to get by.
This is the first year students at Bianyang Senior High are receiving tuition aid from Tzu Chi. Every year, although poor, 50% of the students here pass the university entrance exam.
To be able to become a teacher and be able to contribute my part to the educational field is my honor. I had thought of suicide, but with so many people's encouragement and love, I was able to stand on my own.
The students of Minzu Middle School in Luodian County have received tuition assistance over the past 8 years, and this year was no exception, with 400 students receiving help. Besides handing out tuition aid, Tzu Chi volunteers also led students and teachers of Minzu Middle School on a trip to visit seniors at Xinlong Welfare Center. As students dance with them, the seniors momentarily forget their age and health condition, and these students learn that laughter really is the best medicine. The children from Luodian County studied hard and also seized the opportunity to do good deeds as they hope to overcome poverty with love.
The suburban area of Malaysia's Kota Kinabalu is home to a visually impaired couple, Lydie and Kimai, and their 6 children. After finding out the difficult condition of Lydie's family, Tzu Chi decided to provide tuition support to their children, who promised to study hard.
At 5 a.m., Kimai starts to prepare breakfast and do household chores. People barely notice that she is actually visually impaired.
It was not easy in the beginning. Adding too little water makes the rice too hard. Before, I didn't know how to control the amount of water. I'll just smell the aroma to judge if the rice is cooked. The sound also helps me to judge.
Kimai and her husband Lady are both visually impaired. In addition, they have to raise 6 children. The family relies on the income Mr. Lady makes from odd jobs and social welfare subsidies.
We put the expenses of children's school bus and the meals first. If we don't pay the fees for the school bus on time, the driver will not pick up the children and they will say they forgot.
I don't know what I can buy with $16 US at the grocery store. That amount is simply not enough.
I feel depressed if I can't pay my children's tuition. For them, I can do any kind of job.
After hearing of the family's plight, Tzu Chi decided to give 2 of the children scholarships and subsidize their school bus fees and allowances. However, the couple worries about the children's rebellious nature.
If kids don't listen to us, we'll feel sad. We just want them to be upright. Even after they grow up, if they do low-ranking jobs, it's fine. The most important thing is that they will not harm others to benefit themselves.
To help, Tzu Chi volunteers care for the children's schooling and teach them how to cook to relieve the mother's burden. This is the first time they are preparing lunch, which touches Kimai deeply.
Only God can reciprocate Tzu Chi's favor because I don't have the capacity. I am not capable of reciprocating the teachers and volunteers' kindness towards us.
I will study hard. My family is poor, but if I succeed, I may be able to improve my family's situation and help my parents.
Once again, Tzu Chi volunteers bring care and love to a family and warm up their heart and soul.
At this year's New Shoot Scholarship Award ceremony in Malaysia's Tzu Chi Klang branch, a few more awards were added to the program to encourage students from poor families. Volunteers also invited parents and teachers to join the event to gain a better understanding of Tzu Chi.
Dancing on the stage, the children are all smiles because they know they have money for the new semester. Before receiving Tzu Chi scholarship, Saruna and his brother were afraid of attending school.
I get my salary on the 5th or 7th of each month, but the first day of school is always on the 1st or 2nd. When we don't have money to pay for their tuition, my children will be afraid of attending school. Now with the money, they are not afraid and we are very happy.
In 2008, Tzu Chi Clan branch established the New Shoot Scholarship Program with a Motivation Award being added this year. From the initial 750 students, the scholarship now helps 2,717 students and their families. Sitting in a wheelchair is Surya Malar, who suffers from spinal problems. The costs of purchasing a catheter and diapers are a heavy burden for her family. Thankfully, Tzu Chi scholarship eases some of their burdens. The 10 New Shoot scholarship ceremonies were attended by scholarship recipients, parents, teachers, and principals from various schools.
I gave students a slip to take home and asked the parents to come. After, I explained to the parents the purpose of attending the event. Although I am busy, I am still willing to help.
Parents should attend the ceremony so they can better understand Tzu Chi. After attending the event, we hope the parents can know where the scholarship money comes from.
Handing over the certificates and envelopes that are embedded with the volunteers' love and care, the scholarship recipients' road to higher education has now become brighter.
Next, we meet one farmer in Taiwan's Yilan, Guo Jundong, who has come up with a unique contract farming method in which city dwellers can rent out pieces of farmland. After they decide what they want to grow, the land is then worked by farmers, with the final harvest going to the renters.
Guo Jundong is just a regular office worker who lives in the city with no land to call his own. However, this rice was freshly brought in from his own rice field. How does he do it?
These are some pictures from the field. Just by looking at it, you know that it's pure.
After signing a farming contract with farmer Chen Changzhang, who runs the Nan'ao Natural Farm in Yilan, Guo Jundong was able to realize his dreams of farming the land for healthy organic rice.
This is what we call contract farming. After signing in, you will see all the reservations that our contract holders have put in with Nan'ao Natural Farm. The dried out leaves of the water bamboo will affect ventilation and sunlight. So when we have time, we have to call them.
Since natural farming does not use pesticides or fertilizer, it is good for the environment, but its harvests are difficult to predict. 2 years ago, Chen Changjiang thought up of a contract system in which consumers would rent parts of the land, which would then be cultivated by farmers, with the final harvest going to the consumer.
Everything is yours. A bumper crop is all yours. In bad years, I guarantee 90%.
As the risks of each year's harvest are shared with the contract holders, farmers no longer have to carry out all the risks associated with farming and selling their crops. They can concentrate on farming, which makes them more willing to use methods that are better for the land.
Some farmers will secretly add fertilizer or add pesticides, all because they want to protect their crops, because that money invested is theirs. If it is a bad crop, they have to pay. But if you say, you plant for me and you don't need to add anything extra, If the harvest suffers as a result, I will take responsibility. That is a much more humane way of doing things.
This unique consumer-farmer relationship has slowly gotten notice. Many young people have joined Chen Changjiang in order to experience the joys of farming. To do so, they are willing to give up creature comforts, like good food or comfortable beds.
I don't really care about the basic living conditions. Coming here, I feel that I live a life that has meaning, and I'm learning how to farm in a way that is beneficial to the land.
Sometimes I don't have time to join, so I will just look at the pictures posted online. Looking at them makes me feel like I was there.
This feeling that so moved Guo, who lives in a city far away, has shown him the spiritual value of farming.
This model of Zhang helps create a new attitude towards life. It gives people a different way of seeing how they go about their lives. Perhaps it is not necessary to go after fame and fortune, or perhaps we can reconsider the idea that only life in the city is true living. Life in the country can also be a happy one, and one full of self-sufficiency.
In today's feature report on Taiwan's unique traits, we meet organic farm owner Luo Wenxiang, who was formerly a second-stage colorectal cancer patient. Unwilling to give up on his life, Luo decided to change his ways by planting organic vegetables. Here at an organic farm in Miaoli's Gongguan Township, owner Luo Wenxiang is letting his chickens inside the greenhouse. The chickens are looking for food in the field after the vegetables have been collected.
Chickens are a type of omnivorous animal, and they like to eat worms, particularly those that move a lot. So when we are done with collecting the vegetables, we will let them in because they help us eat the worms.
Looking closely, one may see the traces these insects left behind.
With just a little bit of pesticide, we can easily get rid of these spot worms. The vegetables may not look as beautiful, but they will still be very healthy and delicious.
Luo uses microbial agents to avoid the mass reproduction of insects.
The microbial agent we use is a type of worm, a kind of parasite produced from toxic proteins, so it is not harmful to our environment or to our human body.
Unlike other farmers, harvesting organic vegetables is different, as Luo uses a scissors to cut the roots off each plant.
Our customers don't normally eat the root part of the vegetables, so if we cut it off, they won't have extra kitchen waste. And by leaving the root in the soil, when we are plowing the field, it will become an organic fertilizer.
Despite having a farm in Taoyuan, Luo Wenxiang rented this 5 hectares organic farm in Miaoli for his organic business.
I'm not willing to plant organic vegetables in places that are as polluted as Taoyuan. Here we are surrounded by the mountains and will not be influenced by other fields or factories.
Showing his 10-centimeter long scar from surgery, Luo was diagnosed with second-stage colorectal cancer 6 years ago. At the time, Luo's doctors said he only had a 60% chance of survival.
I realized I was too tense at work, and I didn't really take note of what I was eating, so that is why I contracted colorectal cancer. I thought since I started gardening, why not grow my own vegetables? Now I'm a vegetarian, and I have never felt better and healthier.
Today, Luo not only has made a full recovery, but almost never catches a cold.
I'm grateful to this illness because it changed my life as well as my perspective on it.
The stacks of documents and books on his table is evidence of Luo's hard work over the years.
I'm creating our own website and putting information of our vegetables in this blog.
Unfortunately, a typhoon in July 2008 wiped out his organic farm, forcing Luo Wenxiang to start over from scratch. After the flood, 57-year-old Zhang Mingxiang joined Luo to become an organic farmer.
Since we still have food to eat, we should continue on with the business. We are not only keeping the environment and soil alive, but also creating a sustainable production model.
Knowing the importance of creating a sustainable environment for future generations, both Luo Wenxiang and Zhang Mingxiang vowed to continue with their organic farming. At Luo Wenxiang's organic farm, he employs the handicapped, homeless or unemployed as his staff. Many of his staff all agree they have found new meaning to life through organic farming. Putting a seedling into each hole and spreading the soil evenly onto the tray, Chen Yisu and Chou Yingting are both quick and mindful as they work. The seemingly simple job was actually quite difficult for the two girls, who graduated from a special education school over a year ago.
When they first started, they would often put too many in a bunch. After 3 or 4 months of training, they slowly got used to it, and now their work is up to our standards.
From classmates to colleagues, for the two girls both 19 years of age, this organic farm is like a Garden of Eden.
The environment is great and the owner is really nice to us.
We are surrounded by trees and vegetables. Yes, I'm very happy.
When you are putting them together, make sure you line them up so that it will be easier for packing.
Organic farm owner Luo Wenxiang employs handicapped staff and patiently teaches them whatever he knows. Despite the heavy work, Hong Yisan is happy as he knows having a job is an opportunity hard to come by.
This is a great place because everything here is organic and we can get knowledge.
Of the 8 staff at the farm, some are handicapped or come from a poor family. 68-year-old Zhang Liumei has been a farmer all her life.
Now that I am getting old, I am not capable of farming, but I am working to make ends meet and for my personal health. Our boss is really kind, so we are here to learn.
This eco-friendly organic farm is also home to Mr. Fan, who became homeless after a bad investment. Over the past 4 years, he has developed a passion for organic vegetables.
I like this kind of lifestyle because after all, we are in touch with nature. We eat what we grow and you can say, I'm living a worry-free life.
Another homeless man, Mr. Wu, who became unemployed in his middle age, came to a turning point in life after he began working at the farm. Working inside the farm dormitory, Mr. Wu says he has found inner peace through growing organic vegetables.
Organic vegetables are healthy and it will change our bodies. I feel much more comfortable and relaxed here.
This organic farm in Miaoli not only helps us remain healthy, but is also giving many a second chance in life. In the Philippines, Ancestors' Day is celebrated on November 1st, and it is a day where many families get together to visit the tombs of their ancestors. However, it is also a time where many rubbish are created. Beginning 3 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteers have been promoting recycling at the graveyards. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.